Hey everybody, welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah.
This time, Christmas is coming up, so we're going to talk about a name that you hear a lot around Christmas.
All right.
And we're going to do a deep dive into this name, Immanuel. We see this in the Christmas story,
Right.
especially in the book of Matthew. But it also goes all the way back into the book of Isaiah.
Oh, wow.
And it's really fascinating because you know how like when parents are going to have a kid,
Yes.
they put a lot of thought into the name they're going to give their child?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, this is kind of like that, but on a cosmic scale.
No, that's a great way to put it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
God is naming his son, and it says that in Matthew chapter 1, verse 23, that they will call him Immanuel. So it was like an intentional...
Yeah. Name.
Yeah.
It's not arbitrary, right?
Right.
It's not just picking a name out of a hat.
Exactly. And so the name Immanuel, I mean, what does that even mean?
Well, that's a great question because the name Immanuel actually comes from two Hebrew words. Immanu, which means with us,
With us.
and El, which means God.
Oh, okay.
So you put those two together and you get God with us.
Wow, God with us. So it's like more than just a nice sentiment, right?
It really is. It's not just a feel-good phrase. It points to this incredible reality of what we call the incarnation, which is this idea that God, the creator of everything, chose to become one of us, to dwell among us as Jesus, fully human
Yeah.
and yet fully divine.
That's a hard concept.
It is a really complex and mind-blowing concept.
Yeah. It's hard to wrap your mind around the all-powerful God being born as a little baby.
That's right. And it really challenges our typical understanding of power.
Yeah.
Because you would think that if God was going to come to Earth,
Yeah.
he would come in a very showy way,
Yeah.
with lots of fanfare.
Yeah, like as a warrior king or something.
Exactly. Or, maybe appear in a blinding flash of light.
But he comes as a baby.
But instead, he comes as this tiny, vulnerable baby.
Yeah.
And that's part of what makes the Christmas story so beautiful and so unexpected.
And, I was just thinking, it's like this idea of Immanuel, it feels bigger than just like the manger scene.
I agree. It's not just about that one moment in time. God with us continues to be a lived reality
We'll go.
for those who believe in Jesus through the Holy Spirit.
So it's like an ongoing thing, not just a past event.
It's not a one-time deal. It's an ongoing personal relationship with God.
That's amazing. And that has to have a huge impact on how we live then, right?
It changes everything. It really does, because if God is with us,
Yeah.
then that means we're never truly alone.
And we don't have to be afraid.
Exactly. We don't have to be afraid, and it changes the way we approach every situation. It's a reminder to look for God's presence in the midst of our everyday lives.
Even when things are hard.
Even when things are hard, even when we don't feel his presence, we can trust that he's still there.
And how do we do that?
That's a good question.
Because sometimes it really is hard to feel that he's there.
Sometimes just whispering the name Immanuel can be a really powerful act. It's like a way of acknowledging God's faithfulness even when we're struggling.
Yeah, and I think that was even something that the source material suggested, was just to take a minute and think about those areas in your life where it feels really hard to see God.
Absolutely, because we all have those areas where we feel like God is distant, or maybe he's not even there at all.
And in those moments, just to whisper his name.
Yeah, just to say, Immanuel, God with us.
It's kind of like a reminder.
It is a reminder.
Yeah.
It's a way of holding on to that truth, even when our feelings tell us otherwise.
That's good stuff. And this whole idea of God dwelling with his people, it's not new, right?
Yeah, and I knew I do.
This wasn't just something that Matthew came up with,
No.
like centuries before Matthew.
Yeah.
The prophet Isaiah used the name Immanuel too.
Yes, he did. Isaiah chapter 7, verse 14 predicts that a child will be born who will be named Immanuel,
Wow.
and that this child will be a sign of God's presence with his people.
So Matthew, using this name for Jesus, he was intentionally connecting Jesus back to this ancient prophecy.
Exactly. He was showing that Jesus was the fulfillment of that prophecy.
Wow, that's so cool.
It really is. It's like layers upon layers of meaning.
Yeah, it's not just a name. It's this profound truth
Yeah.
that God is with us, not just historically, but like you said, in a present, tangible way.
Right now, in this moment, God is with us.
So if that's really the case, how does that change the way we live?
That's a great question. How does it change the way we interact with others? How does it change the way we face challenges? If God is truly with us, then how does that affect everything we do?
That's a really good question to think about, and that's something that I want to carry with me this week as I'm going about my day.
I think we all should.
Well, thanks for joining us on another deep dive. We'll catch you next time.
See you later.